I live with my husband in a quiet condominium, the kind where everyone knows each other by sight, says good morning in the elevator, and attends the same Sunday barbecues in the party room. I've always enjoyed this routine, this peace that only a well-established home can offer. I never imagined that the biggest problem I'd face there would come from the neighbor herself, and even more so, that the truth would come from her daughter. The woman from 704, whom I'll call Rosa, moved into the building about a year ago. A single mother in her early 40s, she's always very vain, talkative, and full of presence. At first, I found her friendly. She'd say a cheerful, "Hi," ask about our day, and even compliment our pots on the balcony. I never imagined anything other than cordiality. But over time, the friendliness began to turn into something more. Rose always found a way to bump into my husband. If he was going to get something from the car, there she was, returning from the grocery store. If he was taking out the trash, she'd show up in the garage to walk the dog. Seriously, too much of a coincidence. And she didn't hide her compliments. "Wow, your husband is so helpful. They don't make men like that anymore." At first, I took it in stride. I was also friendly with the neighbors, and I thought maybe I was being neurotic. But it started to become routine. I could see how she only spoke to him. When we were together, she barely greeted me. She spoke to him, looking him in the eye, smiling more than necessary, making a point of touching his arm. When she said something, those gentle gestures, but loaded with intention, I started to feel uncomfortable. I talked to my husband about it, and he, like most men, downplayed it. "Rosa, what's that, honey? She's just a little loud, but she's not trying at all." Typical, until one day Rosa knocked on our door. I was finishing an online meeting in my room and my husband answered. It was her, asking for sugar. The same old excuse. Detail. She knew very well that the grocery store was 200 meters from the building and was open late. But there she was, just needing a little. My husband, embarrassed, went to get the sugar, and she took the opportunity to sit on the living room sofa as if she were part of the family. When I left the room, she quickly got up, grabbed what she needed, and left laughing. "Sorry for intruding, okay?" But with such a polite neighbor, you end up feeling right at home. This bothered me. A lot. But again, I let it go. I still had no proof of anything. Just this growing feeling that I was being disrespected and made a fool of on my own doorstep. Her daughter, Leticia, about 15, was the opposite. Shy, always with headphones in, she was always with her phone in hand, doing TikTok dances or recording makeup videos in the gym mirror. She had that distracted, innocent demeanor that teenagers typically have. I had no idea she would be the key to shattering her mother's entire pose. Back to Rosa. In less than a month, she had already made at least 3 casual visits to our apartment, all at times when I was busy or alone. The last one was on a Wednesday night when I went to pick up a delivery order from the concierge and stayed a few minutes. When I returned, the door was ajar and Rosa was coming out of our apartment, quickly, with a strange little smile on. Her face, I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. But the feeling was clear. Something was very wrong. It was in this climate of doubt that the weekend that would change everything arrived. The building's gym was empty on Saturday morning. My husband had gone downstairs to run a little on the treadmill, as he always does. What he and I too knew was that Leticia was also there, recording a video. According to her, it was one of those routine silent vlogs. And of course, her cell phone was propped up on a bench against the wall, filming everything. That day, Rosa also showed up at the gym, and what happened there between her and my husband was accidentally recorded by her own daughter. But that, I'll tell you about it in the next section, because what followed was a veritable social meltdown within the building's group, and the neighbor's mask fell in front of everyone. That Saturday morning, my husband went to the gym in the building as he always did. Nothing out of the ordinary. He likes to run on the treadmill, puts on his headphones, concentrates, and comes back. I was still at home, calmly sipping my coffee. Rosa, as a good veteran of forced friendliness, already had the habit of frequenting the same place by coincidence. Only this time, the cameras weren't security cameras. It was her own daughter's phone. Yes. The girl was making a video for TikTok, a silly "what my Saturday morning is like" trend. She had left her phone propped up on a side bench, horizontally, capturing a good portion of the room. The recording was long, continuous, and would probably be cut later, with edited sections. Except she forgot to turn off the camera. And the camera caught everything. In the video, you can see my husband running on the treadmill. Leticia appears fixing her hair, posing, and then Rosa enters. She says a cheerful hi to her daughter, then approaches my husband as if she's just saying good morning, but she doesn't move. She stays by his side. He tries to talk even though he's wearing headphones. He takes one earbud out, answers briefly, and keeps running. She persists. She points to a dumbbell, says something, laughs loudly. She pulls up a chair, sits very close to the treadmill, facing him. Then she stands up. You pretend to stretch. You rest your leg on the support bar. You lean in. You look at him and then you try to kiss him, yes. She tries to kiss my husband. He stops dead in his tracks. He literally steps on the corners of the treadmill, almost trips, and backs away. He puts his hand in front of him, as if to say, stop it. She stands there, laughing awkwardly, as if she'd made a bad joke. He grabs the towel, gets off the treadmill, and walks away, leaving her standing there. Leticia, completely oblivious to what had happened, continued recording from the other side. The video was automatically saved on her phone, and hours later, unaware of its exact content, she posted it on TikTok, but not as a complaint. She posted it with the title, "My Mom Trying to Do the Impossible with the Neighbor LOL." It was a shock. The video went viral among the teenagers in the building first. A friend of Leticia's shared it in the pool group, then it leaked to the court group. And in less than an hour, it was in the adults group, the general condominium group. No one understood anything at first. Some laughed, thinking it was a setup. But when they saw it was my husband, the building stopped. The messages started pouring in. People asked if it was true. Others said they always thought Rosa's behavior was strange. Some even tried to justify it by saying it might have been a bad angle or a joke. But then someone sent the original uncut video. You could clearly see the moment, the closeness, the touch, the attempted kiss, my husband's refusal, and the final embarrassment. Leticia deleted the video minutes later, but it was too late. Everyone had already seen it. I was warned by a neighbor from 503. She sent me a private message. "Friend, look at this. I'm sorry, but you have to see it." When I opened it, I froze. My blood ran cold, my breath caught, and I felt like I was naked in front of a crowd, not because of my embarrassment, but because of the exposure, the boldness, and the confirmation of what I'd known for months. I called my husband right away. He was visibly shaken. He said he didn't understand anything at the time, thought she was going to say something trivial, and suddenly saw her face coming toward his. He said he never imagined she'd have the courage, much less that someone would be recording. He apologized, not for doing anything wrong, but for not believing me sooner. And me? I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't make a fuss. I waited, because I knew the most embarrassing part of the story was yet to come. And it wouldn't be mine. It would be hers. It didn't take long for the video to get out of control. Even though Leticia herself had deleted it from TikTok, it had already been saved and shared by at least a dozen people in the building. And in our condominium, which thrives on gossip, more than rules of coexistence, it was pure fuel. Within hours, everyone knew what had happened. That same Saturday afternoon, the general condominium group turned into a digital Cold War. Some pretended not to have seen it. Others asked openly, "Does anyone know if that video of the woman from 704 trying to kiss her neighbor is true?" And someone replied without ceremony, "Yes, it is. That's the guy from 402. His wife already knows. I already knew, and how I did." But what surprised me wasn't the video itself, but Rosa's reaction. She remained completely silent the entire day. No message, no explanation, no attempt to put out the fire. While the entire building was buzzing with chatter and debate, she hid. Her apartment, once bustling with, "Hi, neighbor," chatter, became a tomb. But the silence was short-lived. Late in the afternoon, When the buzz reached its peak and people were already considering taking action against the building management for inappropriate behavior in common areas, Rosa finally appeared in the group. She posted the following message. Good afternoon. I saw that some people are commenting on a video that was improperly leaked, recorded without my consent. I would like to clarify that it was a joke between neighbors, which, unfortunately, was misinterpreted and taken out of context. I ask that you respect my privacy and that of my daughter. Yes, she called it a joke between neighbors and tried to blame her own daughter, as if the 15-year-old had masterminded the whole thing, as if the recording had been made with the intention of harming her. The reaction was instantaneous. An older resident responded, I'm sorry, Rosa, but this doesn't seem like a joke. And this isn't the first time we've noticed your, let's say, inappropriate behavior. Others began commenting directly. Your husband was uncomfortable. You were intrusive. What if it were the other way around? A man trying to kiss a married woman? Would it be a joke too? I watched everything in silence. I didn't write a word. I didn't respond to anyone. I let the video speak for me. And it did. It was Leticia, the daughter, who suffered the most from this. She sent me a private message, desperate. Auntie, I'm sorry. I swear I didn't know she was going to do that. I didn't mean to cause trouble. I was just recording my video and didn't even notice. I responded calmly. I told her it wasn't her fault, that the truth has a strange way of coming out, and sometimes it comes from even the most innocent hands. And that, despite the pain, I would much rather have the truth out in the open than continue living in doubt. By Monday, the story had already reached the building administration. Someone brought the video printed on paper, along with a flash drive, containing the original recording. I don't know who it was, but I thank them from the bottom of my heart. That week, the administration issued a formal statement requesting more decorum and respect in the common areas. It was a direct message. To Rosa, but without naming names. The neighborhood understood. Her? She became a ghost. He didn't show up at the gym anymore. He didn't attend building meetings. He disappeared from groups, started coming and going with sunglasses on, head down, looking at his cell phone. But the truth was already out in the open, and everyone knew it. The strangest thing, even after everything, she never came to talk to me. She never apologized. He never looked me in the eye, but frankly, I prefer it this way because in the end, it was her own behavior that destroyed her. And now everyone saw what I'd been feeling for months. I wasn't exaggerating. I wasn't crazy. I was right. After the storm, silence came, but not that good, tranquil silence. It was a tense, heavy silence. The kind you feel when you get in the elevator with someone who pretends nothing happened. Rosa still lived in 704, but it was as if she'd become invisible. Once talkative and smiling, she now passed by like a shadow. No good mornings, no small talk. Gone were the exaggerated laughter, the touches on the arm, the fake friends. The embarrassment remained. Her daughter, Leticia, stopped going to the common areas. She became reclusive, probably ashamed of having unintentionally exposed her own mother, and that, I confess, hurt me more than anything, because that girl wasn't to blame for anything. She was simply the innocent prank that revealed a truth no one else could prove, and most shockingly, Rosa never spoke to me. Not a message, not an apology, not a wave. The woman who invaded my space with compliments about my husband didn't have the courage to say, I'm sorry, after everything came to light. But the neighborhood spoke for me. I felt it in the little things, in the sympathetic looks from neighbors who previously thought I was exaggerating, in the invitations for coffee, in the more respectful conversations, in the way they began to look at me with new understanding. I was no longer the jealous woman. She was the woman who endured in silence and watched the truth come out on its own. There was one scene in particular that sealed everything. About a month after the scandal, I was getting off the elevator. The door opened on the 7th floor. Rosa got in, alone. He looked at me. I looked back. She hesitated for a second, as if about to say something. But she swallowed hard, pressed the button for the ground floor, and kept her head down until the end of the descent. When the door opened, she hurried out, almost running away, and me? I took a deep breath. not out of anger, but out of relief, because I no longer felt anything. The anger passed, the pain passed, the distrust passed. What remained was the certainty that, no matter how much they try to manipulate the truth, it always escapes. Sometimes through a conversation, sometimes through a look, and sometimes through a video accidentally recorded by the daughter from whom she tries most to hide it. Today, I'm still with my husband, stronger than ever. After everything, he learned to listen to me better, to respect my feelings before things get out of control. And I learned not to doubt my intuition. It saved me from much more than betrayal. She saved me from living in doubt, insecurity, and self-punishment. And what about Rosa? She's still there. In 704, locked behind the door, she herself closed, with her own arrogance, her own lack of boundaries, and the certainty that everything she tried to hide was seen by everyone, including me.